Hey there, Zendrummers! Darren here from Zendrum Studio with a quick update about what's new in version 1.1.5. Also, it's been a while since I've done any of these videos, and this is actually probably the first since the release of Zendrum Studio. So if you aren't caught up on happenings, please know that Zendrum Studio is the name of the replacement for the former ZenEdit app. If you haven't yet upgraded or are new to the scene, there's a link in the description to download Zendrum Studio for Mac or Windows. If you'd purchased ZenEdit recently, then the upgrade is free, and there are other upgrade tiers depending on how long you've been a user. Now on to what's included within the new release. The main focus in this build is on melodic performance, and I'll walk you through what's new and what's changed. Here I have an open project which still has the default factory layouts for all 16 setups. I'll select number 9, which has a chromatic layout. Now let's assume I want to use the entire Zendrum for melodic performance. I'll press Command A to select all of the available triggers, that is, the ones that are located on the body. And now the selection editing panes on the right are populated. The first thing you'll notice is that there is a new melodic pane here. If I click there, you'll see there is an option to enable melodic mode for these selected triggers. We'll turn that on, and now you can see that in addition to displaying the note numbers, we can also see the note names. In fact, let's get rid of the numbers to make it easier to read. From the display pane, we can just turn off the show note number feature. Okay, so that's become a bit easier to make out. If you're playing a struck or plucked percussive instrument, then at this point you're good to go. You can just move the notes around or double-click the triggers to edit them. However, if you're playing something with sustain like a synth pad, an organ, electrobass, or what have you, then you'll likely be unimpressed by the default note duration your Zendrum has. If we click back to the melodic pane, here you can see that the default note duration is a mere 10,000ths of a second. Note duration in this context is the amount of time before a note is turned off. See, when you strike a trigger, your Zendrum first emits a MIDI note on message, and then once the duration time has passed, a matching note off message is then dispatched. The note or tone will only be audible during that duration. So in order to play sustained tones, you need to increase the duration length. So how do we do that? Well, if you know exactly how long you want the notes to sound for, you can just enter it right here. If I put in a value of 1,000, for example, then the notes will sound for 1 second, 500 for half a second, and etc. But suppose you don't know what value to enter. Well, if you click this Tools menu here, you'll see some options. The one at the bottom is easiest to use. You simply hold it down for a while, and then when you release, the value is set. So you could hum a song in your head or listen to a recording, and then just hold this down for as long as you'd want, say, a quarter note to last. You can do this as many times as you'd like. The menu will stay open. For the most precise way of setting duration, I recommend you use the Calculate feature. Here, first, you'll be asked for the beats per minute or BPM of the music you'll be performing. Enter it in, or if you'd rather, you can click in time onto this circle to enter it. We'll say this is a slowish song, so maybe let's try 178. Okay, and then we hit next, and here we get to the last step. Here we can set the time signature. Let's try something fun, like 6/8. And for note length, we'll do eighths. We could make these dotted eighths, but I'll leave them as is. And here you can see the result. At 178 BPM, an eighth note in 6/8 is 168 milliseconds. We could make any adjustments to these we want and then just click Finish to use the calculated note duration when done. Now let's say, for these triggers here in the tail, that we want the generated notes to have more sustain. We can go back into the calculator. Notice it's remembered the settings we used for these selected triggers. And let's say we want these triggers in the tail, instead of being eighth notes, to instead all be half notes, and as you can see, these will now sustain for just over a second. So each trigger can have its own duration set independently of the others, just like any other parameter. If, say, we changed our mind a bit and we wanted to actually just play toms on these lower triggers, Well, we can always go in and turn off melodic mode and reset the duration. We probably want to turn the note numbers back on too. But the point is you can switch back and forth and also combine percussive triggers with melodic ones without any trouble. Melodic mode and percussive mode are not an either-or for a given user setup. You can mix and match. Anyhow, that's all that's new in this version of Zendrum Studio. If you like this sort of content, please be sure to like and subscribe. Coming up next will probably be one of the last two remaining features from Zen Edit that have not yet been ported over, and those are note transposing and also the scales feature. Until next time, Zen drummers, may you play well and play safe. Bye for now.